Jarvis, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. How can I assist you today?
Okay, so hello everyone. This is me, Adijit, back with a new video. Now, I think from this intro, now you know what we are going to build in this video. So, yes, we are going to build a voice-based AI assistant using OpenAI. Okay, so at the end, this is how it is going to look like. So, you can, like, similar to ChatGPT, you can ask ChatGPT any question and it gives you the answer. Similarly, here also, you can ask any question to this AI assistant and it is going to give you the answer. Okay, but here the thing is, you don't need to write or you don't need to read. You can give the commands through voice and it is going to speak the answers for you. So the whole system we are going to build with Raspberry Pi. But if you want to build it with Mac or Windows or Linux, you can also do that. Okay, the procedure is completely same. Okay, now in this video, at first we are going to create an OpenAI account. We are going to get the API key. Then we are going to see how the code is working. Finally, we are going to do the setup in Raspberry Pi and we'll see how it is working. So all this we are going to cover in this video. And now if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to the channel so that whenever we make interesting videos like this, you will get an update. And now without wasting any time, let's get started. Okay guys, so let's start the video. Now before we get into the coding part, so let me tell you the setup I'm using. Now here I'm using Raspberry Pi 4 8GB version. So as you can see, I'm using Raspberry Pi 4 8GB version. You can also use 4GB version. Even with Raspberry Pi 3 1GB RAM, you can also do the same thing. Okay. Next, for the mic, I'm going to use this Moano mic. Okay, this is a USB mic. You can use any USB mic. Like nowadays, most of the USB mics works with Raspberry Pi. Or if you don't have a USB mic, you can use a webcam also. Webcam is also going to work. So you can use any Logitech or HP webcam. I have a Logitech webcam, Logitech C270 I guess, and I also have HP W300. Both of those like works with Raspberry Pi quite well. Okay, so you can use those webcams or you can use any USB mic that is going to work perfectly. Okay, and finally I'm using these small speakers. Okay, these are basically USB powered speakers. So I have connected them with a Raspberry Pi through the aux cable. Okay, so this is the setup I'm using. Okay, but obviously you can use other speakers or other, like I mentioned, other webcams for the mic or anything you want. Okay, next, now let's talk about the coding part. Now here at first you have to clone this repo, OpenAI base. So OpenAI based voice chatbot in Raspberry Pi or PC. So, and first we'll get into Raspberry Pi. Now here I already have connected my Raspberry Pi and I am going to control my Pi from this VNC. Okay, but you can also use direct HDMI connection or whatever connection you want. No problem in that. Now what we have to do is we have to clone the repo. So what I'll do, I'll just go to, at first I'll just delete this. Okay, let it be here. So what I'll do is I'm going to clone it. So git clone, and I'm going to basically clone this one. Okay, so I'll show you the whole procedure. So not here. So git clone and this link. So it will take few seconds to clone it. Once it will clone it, you can go inside it. So it is like OpenAI based this, and inside there are two files. This is OpenAI bot and there is this readme.md. These are the two files we have there. Okay, now before we do something else, we have to install the dependencies. Now dependencies and their installation methods are already mentioned in the GitHub repo. So you just need to execute all these commands. So you need the port audio, you need the Python Pi audio. Okay, you need the speech recognition, you need the PyTTX tree, you need OpenAI, you need eSpeak, and you need FLAC. All these things you need. Okay, and actually there is one small thing that you need to change, which I'll change here itself. So there is, instead of Python, it will be Python 3 now. Okay, so with Python also it may work, but yeah, Python 3 will be a safer option. Okay, so this is all things you need to install. And why you need to install all these things? So speech recognition, obviously you need to install because here we are using the Python speech recognition library for the speech recognition part. Next, PyTTX tree, this port audio, this Python 3 Pi audio, and also this FLAC and eSpeak. All these things are mainly we need, at least the FLAC, eSpeak, and mainly the port audio. This part we mainly need for the speaking version, speaking thing. Okay, so because here we are using pyttx3 library in Python for the text to speech conversion. So for that we need all these things, and PyAudio we also need for the speech recognition part. Okay, and also OpenAI, obviously we need OpenAI because the main so what happening here is basically when we are speaking, first we are doing the speech recognition. From there we are getting the keywords or whatever we are saying. So let's say who is Tony Stark. So speech recognition part is going to from the speech it's going to say, okay, that person has said who is Tony Stark in text. Now that text we are going to send to the OpenAI, okay, using through a API, and from there we are going to get a response. Now that response is a text. Now that text we are going to again convert into a speech. Okay, so for that part we are going to use pyttx3. Okay, so this is all the libraries we are using, and that is the reason why we are using. You can use these commands and install those libraries. I already have installed. Okay, so once the libraries are installed, there is only one thing remaining, that is you need a OpenAI API key. How you can get that is very simple. You just have to do OpenAI API. You will go to this page. Here you have to log in. Once you log into it, so you can use login. So obviously if it's first time, then you have to create account. Okay, but you don't need to pay anything. And also OpenAI, for the very first time you will create account, you are going to get $5 like 5 USD trial. Okay, so for the whole project you also don't need to pay anything, and 5 USD is actually enough for this project. Okay, now here you have to go to API. Okay, and in API you have to go to like personal. From there you have to go to view API keys. Okay, now here very important thing is this billing part. You have to go to billing, and here you have to see what is your remaining credit. Now in this account I already have I already have used the 5 USD credit, so I don't have any credit left. But in your case you may have the credit. Okay, but also there is one thing that I think there is some expiration of the credit. So maybe if your account is too old and you are using ChatGPT for a very long time, maybe it is 0. In that case, what I recommend you create a new account. You just need a new email and new phone number. That's it. Okay, so you create a new account with a new email and phone number, and then maybe you will again get a 5 USD trial. Okay, so that trial you can use for this project. And also if you are creating this thing for like you want to use it for a longer time or something different purpose, you can also start the billing. Okay, now here after you make sure that here you have something left, or you have started the payment billing, then you go to the API keys. There you have to create a new secret key. Here you have to give a name. So whatever, in my case, like I can give it something like chatbot. You can create a secret key, and once the key is created you can copy it, done. And then you have to copy the key. So in my case I have a key already there, so I'm not going to use this key, and I'll delete this key later. Okay, so after you have created this key, you just copy this key. Now I will show you where you have to paste it. So just a minute. Here now let's go into the code OpenAI bot.py. Now here there is this part where you have something like this one, OpenAI.API key is equal to XYZ. Here in place of XYZ, inside the quotation you have to write the whole key. Okay, you have just copied. Now so let's talk about the code first, then we'll run it. So obviously, like I said, we are going to use the speech recognition API, not API library. Next we are going to use PyTTX and OpenAI. Okay, then basically here we are creating a PyTTX engine so that we can convert the text to speech. Okay, and then basically here one thing is important, that in the messages you have to create a role for your OpenAI, basically the AI chatbot. So in my case the role I have assigned is system. Okay, and also the content is, you have to say like what its main role is. You can say not role, what it should do, something like that. So I have said that your name is Jarvis and give answers in 2 lines. Okay, so that's a very simple chatting application. I have just given like, your name is this, and this is you are going to answer in 2 lines. You can say that you are a business consultant and you should work in this way. You are a school teacher, you should answer in this way. In this way you can mention. Okay, but in my case this is how I have mentioned, but you can change this thing. Then basically here all these things are basically for the text to speech part. So voices, we are going to get the voices property, we are going to get a rate property and volume property. So we are getting the properties so that we can modify things. Okay, so in PyTTS, PyTTSX, 3 we have multiple voices, the rates we can change, the volume also we can change. Okay, so you can play around with the settings. Okay, based on the settings the voice will get changed. I'll show you my settings. So and fine, okay, so that part we'll get into, but before that we have this get response function where we are giving the user input. So let's say I said who is Tony Stark, so in this function who is Tony Stark is going to be passed. Next, messages dot append. So in message is going to append the role is user because I'm the user. Okay, it's the system. So here the AI application is the system and I am the user. Okay, now user and content is user input. So whatever I have said, that is the content. Next, we are going to basically using the OpenAI.chat_complete.create. Okay, this method we are going to use, and model we are using GPT 3.5 Turbo, and there we are going to pass the messages. Now remember, messages is a list. It's not a single what I can say. It's not that a single user input. So whenever you start talking with it, so the very first thing is you are assigning it a role and you are saying this is your content. From next time, whatever you are saying, you said who is Tony Stark. So this is one. This is basically one particular chat. Next, you are again saying some, or not chat. Let's say this is a very particular user input. Next, maybe it is giving you some reply. That is reply. That is a what you can say is like output from the application side. Then again, you are saying something that who is Jarvis, and then again it is replying. Again, you are saying that who, what is this? So all these things, these are like I would say like a list of inputs and outputs. So what you are giving is the input and what this application is giving is the output. So messages is a list of input and outputs. Okay, so every time we are going to pass ChatGPT basically our user input, we have to send it the messages so it will know the context. Okay, because it's not that whenever I'm asking something to this application, the answer will also depend on my previous text. So maybe I have said something like who is Tony Stark first, and then it gave me some answer. Now I can ask like please tell me a little bit more about him. Now when I'm saying him, like this application should know that him here refers to Tony Stark, and for that it needs the context. Okay, so that is why here we are going to send the list of messages or list of input outputs. Okay, that we are sending, and then ChatGPT reply, we are getting the response, and this response we are basically again appending in the messages. Okay, because this is basically the output from the application, and then we are basically returning that ChatGPT reply. Okay, then finally here while listening, this is an infinite, so listening if you see is true, so it's an infinite loop basically. Okay, until you exit from it here. Okay, by pressing Ctrl C. Next, with sr.microphone as source. So basically we are here using so whatever you can use, like I already mentioned, any USB mic or whatever mic you are using, so that microphone it is going to use as a source. Next, basically it is going to create a recognizer object. From there, adjust for ambient noise. This is very important. So what this thing will do is basically when you have a large noise around you, it is going to set the adjacent noise according to that. So it's a very important thing. So if you are so I recommend you that whenever you are using this application, you should be in a empty room, at least with less noise. Okay, but even if you have a high noise, it is going to adjust that noise. Okay, and why it needed, see what happens is when this application is listening to you, it has to recognize when you are starting talking and when you are ending, like where your sentences end. Okay, so that's why it need to get the ambient noise. Okay, so for example, now it's nothing, and then I start talking, so it will know this is the start, and now here it ends. Okay, so now it knows here's the end, because then again, so this sound level, from this sound level it knows where is the start, where the end. So now let's say there is a lot of noise here. In that case, it's very hard for this application to know where to start and end. So that's why it needs to adjust the ambient noise. Okay, but still if there will be a lot of noise, it's really hard for at least for this speech recognition library to get it properly. Okay, and that's it. Okay, and again here we are setting the dynamic energy threshold, and finally here we are try-clutch block. Inside that we are using the recognize.listen source and timeout 5.0. so that means that whenever it is listening to you, if for a very particular time you are not saying anything, then again basically what it will do, it will take the voice, okay, and it will try to recognize something from it, and if it can't, then again it will start from the beginning. So it is like it is listening to you, it is going to listen to you for 5 seconds. In 5 seconds, if you don't say anything, it is going to try to recognize from that 5-second speech, and if it doesn't get anything, then again it will start from the beginning. So again 5 seconds, and then again stop, try to recognize, again 5 seconds, stop, try to recognize, again 5 seconds. In this way it is going to do. Okay. Now yes, and there we are going to get the response from recognizer.recognize Google. Okay, so audio using the basically this library, you are going to get the response, and finally we are printing the response also. Okay, now if Jarvis is in the response.lower, so the overall sentence we are converting into lowercase, and we are checking if Jarvis is in the response. Okay, now here you can put anything, you can put it any name instead of Jarvis, you can put Arijit, Sparklers, whatever you want. And then if that very particular word is in the response, then only it is going to send that response to that function get response. From there it is go, and here also it is, we are basically setting the property rate as 120, volume as basically volume. Okay, and then this voice as Greek. Now I have tested few things, and I think like this Greek voice I really liked it, so that's why. So most of the things are almost same, but still I have used this Greek voice. Okay, and so basically volume are also where you can change the volume if you want. Okay, but I haven't changed it, but you can make it bigger, like you can make it more loud or less loud, up to you. Okay, and finally it is the engine.say response from OpenAI. So the response whatever we are getting, the output, that we are going to speak through the using the PyTTX. So it is so the whatever speaker you will connect, you are going to hear this audio from the speaker. Okay, that is all it. And then engine.run and wait. So run and wait, what it will do is basically whenever it is saying something, so the output it is saying, it is going to wait. Okay, so it is not going to again start listening to you. Okay, and that's it. And then finally, if we don't have Jarvis or whatever the word it is, so it is going to say didn't recognize Jarvis. And if it is internet issue or something problematic, then it will say didn't recognize anything. Okay, so this is what happening here. So only things you need to change API key, and if you want to change Jarvis to, if you want to use the keyword something else, in that case you can do that. Okay, so that is all we are having in this code. Now let's try to run this code. So in my case, in another file, I already have saved my API key, so I'll just go to that file. So I'll just go to that file, and from there I'm going to run this same thing again. I'll go to run it. So Python and open so I think small a, yeah, OpenAI bot.py. So once I run it, Jarvis, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. How can I assist you today?
Jarvis, can you write a message for my YouTube channel Sparklers, we are the makers viewers, so that they will subscribe to my channel? So it got it.
Attention Sparklers. Calling all makers and creators. Join our YouTube channel and be part of our creative journey. Subscribe now for exciting DIY projects, tutorials, and inspiration that will ignite your imagination.
Okay, so this is how it is working. Okay, now few improvements that can be possible we'll discuss, and then maybe in some other video I'll do that. So very first thing is the voice is not that good. It's little bit robotics voice, but there are a few more libraries there, and also some APIs, online APIs, using which actually we can create better voices. So there is something called as Festival, then there is this Google API using which we can actually get a voice. Then there is also, I'm not sure, maybe Azure also has its some kind of API using which you can also convert text to speech, those kind of things. So maybe in some other video we can talk about that. So that's one thing. Another important thing is this speech recognition part here. Basically when we are saying, so every time so one problem is that all the time it is basically listening to us and then it is trying to recognize, but it shouldn't be the case. So even I'm not saying Jarvis, still it is trying to recognize, but it should not do it. So to solve this problem, what we can do, we can use what word detection. So whenever I'm going to say Jarvis, only after then we are going to use that speech recognition library, so that once I say Jarvis, then only it will try to recognize. So here what is happening, that you like what happened just before some time, that I said something, maybe something random I'm saying, and still it is trying to recognize, because after recognition only we can check if there is Jarvis in the sentence or not. But it should not be the case. What should happen is, once I say Jarvis, then only whatever I will say, that should be on that part only should get recognized. Okay, not everything. So that thing we can actually do with word word detection. Maybe in some other video I will actually do that, or maybe you guys also can do it and let me know that you updated something like that. So that's some improvements we can really do, but as a basic project this is quite good. Okay, and you can actually make it of your own, or you can do the improvements. Okay, and also you can let me know what improvements you update. Also, if you have any questions regarding to this project or any part of this video, you let me know in the comment section. I'll try to solve that problem. And now I think that's it all about this video. Okay guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you have learned something from this video. In that case, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, so that whenever we are going to make the next content, you will get the update. And many more contents we are making right now, and very soon you are going to get all of those. So stay tuned with us, and I'll see you in the very next video.